Alright guys, welcome again to our channel. Today we will be talking about Unit 10, which describes um, characters. Some of the objectives you will see on this unit are describe people's appearance and character traits, connect preferences with character, use joining words to connect and contrast ideas, understand to versus enough used with adjectives, adverbs, and nouns, introduce gerunds and infinitives after certain verbs, identify personality by reading faces, express preferences using would rather and prefer, utilize tag questions when confirming or asking for information, and use indirect questions when being polite or educated. As you know, this is our book, double click to, and let's get started with lesson A. In lesson A, it introduces the content with its vocabulary section, describing here some of the appearances, and as you can see, some pictures here: Ken, Tommy, Daniel, Sue, Sally, and Tina, and also Anne. If you look at these pictures, you can describe that, for example, Sally and Tina have long hair, while Daniel has short hair. When it comes to the color blonde, for instance, Sally and Tina, you could say that Tina has blonde hair. If you want to say it in a full sentence, you can say that she has straight long blonde hair. Then you have Sue. Sue has short hair. Okay, if you want to describe the eyes, you can either say big or small, and also you can describe the color. Just keep in mind the color black is not used for eyes, but instead the color dark. You can also describe the mouth by saying whether it's small or wide, as for instance, Anne's mouth is wide, and the lips as if they are thin, for Sue, for instance, and full lips, Ken, for instance. Then additional features as beard, mustache, and wrinkles. You could say that Daniel has wrinkles, which are the things that come to your forehead, for example, when you are becoming older. He also has a beard and a mustache. Mustache goes on top of your one of your lips, and a beard goes around your face when you're a man. Here you have some examples of what we were describing. Now, something you need to remember, the most important, is this question: what does X person look like? This question is to describe the appearance of a person. Notice that the text answers: he has short gray hair and wrinkles. He also has a beard and a mustache. But if I am trying to know the personality, the character of a person, then the question that I would ask is the one on top, the one that says here, what is Tommy like? Okay, so here I'm describing his character or personality. Now let's listen to this conversation.
Good morning.
Hi.
You must be the new secretary.
That's right, I'm Anne.
Well, I'm Emma, and this is Mike. That's a beautiful outfit you're wearing.
Thank you. I only wear designer clothes. Well, I have to get back to work now.
She's very vain, isn't she?
Vain?
Yes, she looks like she's going to a party, and she's wearing far too much makeup.
Oh, I thought she looked very pretty.
Huh, typical man.
Alright, in this conversation, it's a casual conversation in which three people are involved. At first they say, you must be the new secretary. Must be, it means I am sure of that. There are no doubts. And then Emma says, look at her outfit. So outfit means the clothes you're wearing at the moment. Let's say if you have a blouse and a skirt and the shoes, all together is your outfit. Designer clothes refers to clothes that are specially designed. Let's say not this cheap clothes that we can get at any stores, but clothes that have labels and are made by important designers. Then when Emma says she's very vain, vain refers to a person that is pretentious. Okay, and then makeup, it's what you ladies wear on faces. When you have, for example, lipstick or mascara, all this stuff. And then typical refers to common. Okay, now we're gonna get started with the next conversation.
Good morning. Mr. Walker, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Good morning.
Have a seat, Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
So, tell me about yourself.
Well, I have just moved to Chicago with my family. I have a lot of experience in management, and I'd like to work for your company.
Why our company?
Because it's very successful, and it has an excellent reputation.
That's true. We all work very hard here, and there can be a lot of overtime.
Oh, I don't mind working long hours. The more you work, the more you learn. That's my motto.
Well, you seem like a very hard-working and determined person, Mr. Walker. I'm sure you'll hear from us soon.
Thank you for your time.
Alright, in this conversation, they are having an interview. As you can see, there's an interviewer and there's an interviewee who is the one receiving the interview, in this case, Mr. Walker. So at first, when they say have a seat, that means sit down. And when he says that he has experience in management, management is the area of where a manager works. So as a manager, he has experience in management. The company is successful, which means the company has achieved the goals that the company proposed at some point. For instance, big companies are usually successful, like Coca-Cola. It's a successful company. Pepsi as well. Okay, Google. Okay, so overtime means extra hours, extra time. Okay, if you're working in a call center, for instance, and you have to work 8 hours every day, but you're working 9, 10 or more, then you're making overtime. A motto is a motivational phrase. Okay, so his motto is the more you work, the more you learn. So he considers that working many hours help you learn a lot. Then determine, it's a person that knows what they want. Okay, if I know what I want, I could say I am a determined person. And then the interviewer says, I'm sure you'll hear from us soon. That means that we will be contacting you soon, so you will listen from us. Okay, let's move to our last conversation.
Tommy, are you ready?
Ready for what?
For Angie's party, of course.
Oh, no. Do I have to go?
You should be looking forward to it.
Why? I don't know any of Angie's friends.
Oh, Tommy. You shouldn't be so shy. You should meet some new people. Try to be more sociable.
But I hate talking to strangers.
Well, if you really don't want to go,
I'd rather stay in tonight and watch TV.
that's fine with me. But you have to call Angie and tell her.
Oh, no. Can't you tell her?
In this conversation, there's a guy that apparently doesn't want to go to a place, which is a party, because he doesn't know anyone. Bill is trying to persuade him by telling him that he should be looking forward to that event, and look forward to it, to be very anxious. Okay, so then he says that he is not anxious because he doesn't like talking to strangers. And strangers, who are strangers? People that you don't know, like the TV series Stranger Things. Then he says that he prefers I prefer to stay in. Stay in means that he prefers to stay home. Don't go out of your house, is to stay in. Okay, so let's move forward to the next section, which is now lesson B. Alright, in lesson B has more details about describing people's appearance and character, especially the appearance. Notice here that you have Max. Max is 68 years old. He's 6 feet tall and 137 pounds. So he's in his late 60s. If you notice his picture over here, Okay, if you go from a decade, let's say from 70 to 79, if you are in your early years, you could probably be mentioning 70, 71, 72. If you refer to the mid of your decade, then you might refer to 73, 74, 75, 76, and if you are in the late ones, then you go for 77, 78, or 79. For instance, if I'm 32 years old, I could say I am in my early 30s. If I am 57 years old, I can say that I am in my late 50s. Or I can simply mention this the exact year. Here Max is in his late 60s because he's 68. He is tall and thin with wavy gray hair. Gray hair is the color of the hair when it's this way. When you're old, you have gray hair with small blue eyes. Notice the color of his eyes here. He has wrinkles. Wrinkles are right here, these lines that come on your forehead and also on your whole face when you become older and older. And he has a gray mustache as well. He wears glasses. Notice that maybe for his age he has problems on his vision. Then Bijan, she's 35 years old, so she's on her mid-30s. Notice that's right here. Okay, so she's of average height and medium build. She has a straight dark hair. Look at this, the hair, and she has a round face. Okay, we're going to be talking about faces in a moment. On almond shaped eyes. Notice the way her eyes are. Right here we have some description of the eyes. And thin eyebrows. Look at the eyebrows that are on top of the eyes. And full lips right here. Okay, so we could have here Eddie. Eddie is 41 years old, so he's in his early 40s. So he's short and chubby. He has a round face with a wide forehead. This is the forehead, so it's wide. It's a big one and thick. Arched eyebrows. Okay, right here they look like an arc. And a double chin. This one right here is a double chin. So you say that he is going bald because he in the future won't have so much hair on his head, so he's going bald. Notice that for the age you can describe using this parameter here. Okay, you can also say young, middle-aged, old. For the height, which is how tall a person is, you could say tall, short, of medium height. And build refers to how fat you are. And so here you have thin, slim, chubby, fat, of medium weight. And for the hair, remember you can describe the size of the hair, you can also describe the style and also the color. For instance, you could say that John right here has straight, short, straight, dark hair. So it refers to the whole description of the hair. In the case of the face, we will see face description in a moment. Okay, here for instance you have forehead is broad forehead, narrow forehead, straight forehead, curved forehead, and shaped forehead. Eyebrows, here you have some examples of eyebrows. Okay, arched, also steep arched, rounded, straight, and more. Okay, then for the eyes you have it right here. This is an almond eye because it looks like an almond. Then upturned eye, hooded eyes, and others. Okay, remember you can stop the video at any time and watch for small details. Then let's move to the next one. Here you have some describing the nose. Here is a high nose, low nose, pointed nose, rounded nose. Okay, and then for the mouth, in the prior one you have here full lips, heavy upper lips, wide lips, thin lips. Okay, then in the case of the chin, here you have double chin, V chin, and this right here, double chin. Okay, and then for faces you have here triangle face, oval face, round face. Okay, this woman right here, she has two little holes in here, and the name of these holes are dimples. Okay, then when you have a lot of dots on your face or any other part of your body, then these are freckles. Okay, so let's move forward. Here you have some examples of people with the description. For instance, number 1, she's short, she has curly short brown hair. And number 2, right here, he's a little chubby, he has thin lips and an oval face with a rounded nose, you can see it. Then number 3, she's slim, she has short straight brown hair, and she has hooded eyebrows. Number 4, he's tall and of average weight, he has a round face with a round chin, straight eyebrows, and a pointy nose. This is how you describe people. Remember, the question to answer this is, what does number 1 look like? And then you will describe the appearance. Now we will move forward with an example of appearance.
I just had some pictures developed. Do you want to see them?
Sure, why not? Oh, this woman must be your sister. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and the same dimples as you.
Yes, that's my sister Rachel and her son Jim. He has blonde hair too, but he has small eyes like his dad.
Which one is his dad?
Here, that's Alex with their daughter Callista. She's 4 now.
Oh, he's handsome, isn't he? What a nice smile and a strong jaw.
Julie, behave yourself. He's a married man.
Sorry, don't you have any pictures of Anthony and John?
Oh, my boys. Yes, here we go. That's them with their granddad, Peter.
Oh, your dad looks well, doesn't he? I mean, he may have gray hair and a few wrinkles, but he looks very good for his age. What is he, 75 now?
He's actually 77. And thanks, I'll tell him that. He'll be pleased. Anyway, here's a picture of my other sister, Melanie, with her daughter, Pamela.
What beautiful dark curly hair Pamela has.
And that's Melanie's son, Bobby, and her mother-in-law, Betty.
Wow, Bobby and Pamela are totally different, aren't they?
Yes, Bobby takes after his mom, you know. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and Pamela's like her dad, but she's a real mommy's girl.
You're so lucky to have such a nice family, and such a big one, too.
Well, we're having a party next month. Everyone will be there. You should come and meet them all.
So over here they're describing the name of these people by mentioning, of course, the appearance they have and the relationship between the woman describing the picture and the other one listening to her.
I just
Notice that here the names of these family members are Jim, Alex, John, Pamela, and Bobby. Some of the vocabulary described in this reading, in this listening, was pictures developed. The woman printed these pictures, so that's why the pictures were developed. Then she says that one of the women have here blonde hair, okay, and then they relate Rachel and Jim by saying that they have the same dimples. Also, she refers to Alex as saying that he has a strong jaw, and then the woman tells her, behave yourself, meaning be careful on what you say. You're acting a little you're flirting too much, and this is not appropriate for a woman. Then she keeps on describing the grandfather in this case, who has gray hair and wrinkles, as we said earlier, and then she says that he looks good for his age, which is a compliment. Okay, then she says that the other woman says that he will be pleased, which means he will be happy with the compliment. Then they describe Bobby and Betty, who look actually very different. Okay, and then she says, the woman, that it's because he takes after another person, which means he looks like another person, not like Betty. Let's move forward to the character. Now remember, to describe the character, the correct question is what is he or she like? Okay, so here you have some vocabulary and some expressions. Let's just go ahead and show you the answers. Here you have that for honest. Okay, is a person that tells the truth. For ambitious is a person that wants to be successful. Stubborn, it's a person that refuses to change his or her mind. Aggressive, it's a person that often behaves in an angry way. And reliable, it's a person that does what he or she promises to do. It's a person you can trust. Sensitive is a person that gets upset easily. And outgoing, it's a person that likes meeting people. Greedy, it's a person who wants more than what he or she needs. And polite, it's a person that has good manners. Here you have some examples of what we have just said. And of course, they are divided into positive and negative adjectives. Then more examples of the same are right here. Okay, for instance, Jane smiles and laughs a lot, so she's cheerful. Andy makes a lot of noise, he is noisy. Tim does very little work, he's lazy. Sally never makes much noise, is quiet. Tom never gives anyone anything, is stingy. Elsie does a lot of overtime, so she's hardworking. Jill avoids talking to strangers, means he is shy. Doug always looks unhappy, so he's miserable. Angela likes giving people gifts, so she is generous. And Michael has very good manners, he's polite. Here you have some others with the pictures and the description, as in clumsy picture A, cheerful picture F, okay, bossy picture E, and some others. Remember, you need to study the character by using these examples, and you should be able to identify your own character. Here you have even more descriptions. Remember, you can stop the video at any time to read on this. So if we move forward, we have one of the grammar points of this section B, which is joining words. Joining words are words that connect ideas. These ideas can be similar qualities or can be opposite qualities. If they are similar, you usually use and, as well as, also, in addition to, etc. And if they are opposite qualities, use but, however, although, etc. An example of similar is he is funny and friendly. She is generous, but she is aggressive at times. Here you have all the grammar points from the book and workbook with more details. Let's notice some other examples here. The opposite is usually with one idea positive and one idea negative. For example, she's hungry, but she doesn't have money. They understand English, period. However, comma, they can't write. So one positive idea, they understand. One negative, they can't write. Another one, although the monkey dresses silk, remember silk is a material, stays monkey. This is the Dominican saying, I hope you get it. Now let's see some examples in here written with this. This is from the book. Thailand is a tropical country in Southeast Asia, and Bangkok is a capital city. Most people there live in apartments, but the people in the country live in traditional wooden houses. Thai people usually wear modern clothes on special occasions. However, they wear traditional Thai customs. In addition to being known for its temples and historical sites, Thailand is also known for its breathtaking scenery and spicy food, as well as its exciting nightlife. Although the bigger cities are crowded, there are some quiet places in the country where you can relax. All in all, Thailand is a beautiful country and a great place for a vacation. You see, it's really important to understand joining words in context. Let's move forward. Here, another example. She is usually reliable. She can be forgetful at times. You join this with but. You can also join it with however. She is usually reliable, comma, but she can be forgetful at times. He's kind, he's generous. Both follow the same path, so he's kind and generous. You will follow up the other examples by stopping the video for a second and pay attention to that, okay? So here is just another practice from the book to identify the personality or character from the preferences, from the it's actually to identify what people prefer, in this case sports or activities, based on the characters. All right, sorry about that. So here, for instance, you could see that Alfonso is daring and adventurous. So based on that, you could say, I think Alfonso would probably like mountain climbing because he's daring and adventurous. But also you have, let's say, Samuel. Okay, so you could say, I think Samuel would probably like boxing because he is strong and aggressive. So this is a way to express what people would be like based on their character. Let's now move into this listening just to hear about other preferences that people have, in this case about movies.
Hi, Tom. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for some books.
Me too. Why don't we look together?
Okay.
Do you think Allison would like this one? It's called Outer World.
Is that science fiction? No, Allison likes adventure stories. She would like this one, The Time Machine. It looks exciting. I think Tina would like Outer World. She likes books about robots and aliens.
You're right. Here's another interesting book. It's called The Lives of Our Fathers.
What's it about?
Let's see. It's about how people used to live in the past.
Jeff would like that. He likes books about history.
What about this book? Accidental Holiday. Do you think Jim would like it?
No, it has a comical plot. Jim likes scary books. Thrillers like this one, The Color of Fear. Robin would like Accidental Holiday. He likes to laugh at silly stories.
Now in this case they're describing these guys, they both got into a library and they start looking for books for their friends. And as they describe some of the books that they like, they also describe the type of books or movies that they like. Therefore, if you like some sort of movies, you might also like the same when it comes to books. So Allison likes adventures. For instance, they mentioned The Time Machine. Tina likes robots and aliens. So in this case, for Tina, it's science fiction, and so on. So it's very important to understand from listenings what the real message is, because that's a very important task to master your listening. Okay,
Hi, Tom.
so let's just move forward now to the lesson C. In the lesson C, we have a lot of content. For instance, we start with this grammar. We start with to and enough. To and enough for some people sounds complicated, but it's quite easy. First thing you need to know, it's over here in color yellow. To is used to say that it's something is more than what you need, so it has a negative meaning. Enough is used to say that you have sufficient, that you have exactly what you need, what is necessary. So let's just start with the formulas. Notice that in here I have circled in color orange the usage that I'm describing here. So I'm using to plus adjectives and adverbs. This is the formula, plus the full infinitive. For instance, if we have this little girl here that is 130 centimeters and she wants to participate in a contest and she has to be 175 centimeters, it is not possible to participate if this is the minimum. So you have to say she's too short to be a model. In the case of this other guy right here, okay, he's 17 years old, so he wants to drink, but it's not possible because he's 17 years old, so he's too young to drink alcohol. His age is not yet the minimum, which is 18. So if we move forward, now you can see an example, two examples with adverbs. Since I have a different verb, remember when I have the verb to be, I need to use adjectives, but if I have another verb, I need to use adverbs. So he drives too quickly to be a taxi driver. You know, if you're a taxi driver, you need to respect the law. So if you drive too fast, it's not possible to be a taxi driver. This is a cell phone, okay? Imagine it's a very old cell phone, okay? Or it could even be modern. But the point is that if you notice, it has 3 money signs, which means the price is a lot. So this cell phone costs, it's missing an S here, okay? This cell phone costs too much. Okay, good. So now let's move forward to enough. In the case of enough, the formula is a little different. You have to start with the adjective or adverb, and then you go with enough, and then the full infinitive. For instance, this man right here is 21, so he can drive. He is old enough to drive a car. This is with a positive meaning. This woman right here is 6 feet 11 inches. So she's tall enough to be a basketball player. Notice that I'm using Now here the circles when it comes to enough. So all this represent this grammar right here. If we move forward now, enough is also used with nouns. So how do you use it? Enough plus noun plus the full infinitive. So here you say, I don't have enough money to buy a house. So the money I have is not sufficient. He knows enough English to work in a call center. The English that he knows is sufficient to get a job in a call center. Now, what's the similarity between to and enough? Well, when you have to, it's equal not enough. Enough in negative. When is this? When you use the opposite adjectives or opposite adverbs. For instance, old is the opposite of young. So you could say he is too young to work, which is equivalent to say he is not old enough to work. The same happens in here with adverbs. She speaks too quickly for me to understand. She doesn't speak slowly enough for me to understand. Okay, so I'm using this two in here. Okay, now some more. Here in this case is the last usage is to, but referring to a person, for somebody. Math is too hard for me to understand. In this case it has a negative idea because it's hard. Chili pepper is too spicy for me to eat it. In this case as well it's negative because it's spicy. It's not a positive thing. That exam is too easy for you to fail. In this case it doesn't have a negative idea, it's positive. The exam, it's really easy. So if you fail, you should have studied more. This exercise is too easy for you to make a mistake, so there shouldn't be a problem for you filling up an exercise on this type. So here we fill up this exercise. Okay, here for instance it says, do you want to go out tonight? No, I'm tired, right? So I'm too tired to go out tonight. You follow up with the other ones so that the video is not that long. There aren't enough schools in our city, because it says here we need to build more schools, so there aren't enough schools. We should reduce the amount of crime in the city. If we should reduce it, it's because there is too much crime in the city. Okay, you can stop the video and watch this later on. Now let's move forward to the other grammar. This is probably one of the most important grammars of English, which is bare infinitive, full infinitive, and the gerund. Okay, here is a completed exercise, but in the next slide we're going to see the grammar point, so you can stop later and go back to see why sometimes it's help and sometimes it's going. Let's get started here with the verbs conjugation. You should know so far conjugation number 4, 5, and 6, which is when you have the simple present, for example, for the third person, when you add the es or the s, the simple past when you add the ed or the irregular form, and the past participle when you add the ed or also the irregular form. Additional to that, you have the full infinitive. What's the full infinitive? Full infinitive is when you have to plus the verb. Then you have the bare infinitive. The bare infinitive is when you eliminate the two and you only have the verb. And then of course you have the gerund, which is also called the ing. The gerund is when you add the ing into the verb. Notice the chart. Okay, so it's quite easy to identify. There's another chart right here with more examples. So what you need to know is there are rules to use each of the three that we highlighted here in number 1, 2, and 3. Let's start with the number 1. The number 1, we use the full infinitive. FI stands for full infinitive. We use the full infinitive after these verbs. Notice that it says after, which means that these verbs are not affected. These verbs can be, and the same happens to the others, to the gerund and the bare infinitive. These verbs can be in the simple present, in the simple past, in the simple future, in any tense, but the verb after has to always be followed, in this case, by the full infinitive. For instance, decide is in the base form here, but here it is in the simple past, so he decided, but the verb after, it's mandatory to put it in full infinitive. He decided to stop the plan. They wanted to get a new dog. Same thing in past. She would like, in this case is in the base form, she would like to marry her. Notice something, that when you have would like, would love, and would prefer is full infinitive. I would love to start my new company. Only would and love. You would prefer to take traditional classes. I know that you prefer these classes than the online classes. Carl has decided. Notice that here I use simple past, but here present perfect, but it's the same thing. Full infinitive for the verb after. Now the second rule for the full infinitive is after the verbs agree, begin, expect, refuse, advise, afford, hope, manage, promise, and so on. Again, here simple past. For example, they agreed to buy the house. Now future, she will begin to study Japanese. Now past progressive, he was expecting to see you at the party. No matter which tense you use for these verbs, but the verb after, to buy, to study, to see, it's mandatory to put it in past, in the full infinitive. My bad, in the full infinitive. Okay, so to and the verb. Good. Now let's move on to the second group, which is the bare infinitive. Remember, bare infinitive, it's eliminating the to. It's used after all modal verbs, no exception. Can, could, should, have to, need to, must, would, will, may, might, and others. Oh, I double etc. here. So for instance, we can speak English, but if it's in past, they could drive really fast. I should study more. He has to. Remember, for he is has to, no have to. He has to pass the level, and so on. Then there's a second rule for the bare infinitive. The rule says that after let and make, you also have to do the same. So look, my mother lets, because it's my mother lets me use her car. So here, after let, use. The verb is in bare infinitive. Not to use, not using. Let me see your eyes. The same thing here. See. Why do you make me sleep? Make, and then here, sleep. He made me clean the house. Made in past, but it doesn't matter. The verb after, bare infinitive. You never let me go out, and so on. Let's move to the gerund now. The gerund is used after these verbs: love, enjoy, like, hate, mind, dislike, prefer, go. Notice that here you have love, here you have like, and you have prefer, but you don't have would. So when you have these verbs, no would is the gerund. When you have would alone is the bare infinitive, because it's right here. It's in the group of the modal verbs. Okay? But when you have would like, would love, and would prefer, full infinitive. So here you have gerund for these verbs. She loves cooking. They enjoy playing. I hate waking up. It could be in past, remember. They enjoyed. Okay, they were enjoying. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that the verb after is in the gerund. Okay, now it's also used for after go for activities. Activities is when you put the verb in the gerund and you transform the need to activities: swimming, dancing, fishing, skateboarding, anything. And the last usage of the gerund for this level, of course there are more uses that you will learn in the other level, is after phrases. But first, let's understand these phrases. The first phrase, can't help, is when you have no control of something. You cannot stop, you cannot control the situation. And the number two, can't stand, is when you hate something. So look, I can't help crying when I see a sad movie. She couldn't help laughing when I fell. So I was walking, I fell, and she ha 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 ha. She was laughing all the time. She couldn't stop. That's couldn't help. So you see, it could be used in simple past. It doesn't matter. After, the verb has to be in the gerund. They can't stand watching El Pacha. Nobody actually can stand watching El Pacha. Okay? So here we have an exercise. You should stop it here and complete it on your own. But now here it's filled. We don't have so much time, and I don't want to make this video so long, so just take a look at the verbs and you will see they are followed by the correct either gerund, bare infinitive, or full infinitive. Now let's listen to this part, which is the last part of the lesson C.
Famous faces. Face reading, or personology, is an old art that is still popular. It is believed that a person's facial features can tell us a lot about what kind of person they are. Let's see what some famous faces tell us. A. Robert Downey Jr. Robert's low eyebrows mean he is very impulsive and likes adventure. The laugh lines around his eyes also show he is a funny person. Unfortunately, his fun-loving nature sometimes stops him from doing important things. B. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer's high, round forehead means that she is open-hearted and likes making friends. Her curved lips show that she's a very funny person who enjoys listening to and telling jokes. C. Morgan Freeman. Morgan has a long oval face. This means he is a calm and relaxed type of person. His full lips and large eyes tell us that he is also gentle and generous. D. Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett's strong chin suggests that she is very ambitious and has the desire to succeed. Her deep blue eyes are a sign that she is probably very romantic, but still takes life very seriously. E. Vin Diesel. Vin's large nose means that he has lots of energy, and its soft tip shows that he enjoys change. Meanwhile, his strong jawline and smooth cheekbones show that he has an appetite for good food and exercise. F. Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita's slightly triangular face and high forehead shows that she is clever, but can be afraid of meeting new people. However, her wide eyes mean that she is always kind and understanding.
So right here in this reading, you were able to see these famous people, okay, as in a face reading or personology is an all art that from the face can identify your personality. Okay, it tells you the kind of person that you are. There are online websites where you can actually read more about this. There's an exercise right here. It's also filled, so you can also see it later. So this different famous people, they have something to say based on their face. If you read each one, remember to play and pause to pronounce these readings the right way after you listen to this. Okay, so if we move forward, we have some additional grammar sections that we're not going to cover in this video because they're not that relevant for now, but of course they're going to come up in the next level. We will try to make another video later. If not, then for the next level we of course will cover this grammar, which are the tag questions, the indirect questions, and the preferences using rather versus prefer. So we hope that you have enjoyed watching this video, and thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can try to make more and more videos of this type every other day. So see you later. Goodbye.